is hopping on a train randomly. You don't know where you're going, and you just go. You don't even know where you're going. You don't care where you're going, as long as it's not here and it's different. That is beauty.
So I was having a conversation with a few of my friends a few days ago. We were talking about beauty and the transformation of the image that has taken place over the last few decades. But during the conversation, it occurred to me that none of us knew the actual definition of the word itself. But are we to blame for our lack of knowledge and actual understanding of the word? When today we live in an era where this is considered beautiful, as opposed to years ago when this was considered stunning, exotic, and most importantly, beautiful. But rather than Google the definition, I wanted to do something a little bit more memorable. So I took my questions and my camera to my school, City High, the IB community of students and faculty with high intellect, led by learner profile attributes. And with that in mind, I began to ask people the vague, undefinable question: how would you define beauty?
Beauty is confidence, being self-assured, not necessarily physical looks. But everybody is in that stage of beauty. Like, you may not feel like beautiful every day, but there are parts and aspects that we learn every day about ourselves that make us feel beautiful.
The definition of beauty is somebody who's content in themselves and is happy to be who they want to be and who they are, and they're just comfortable.
I think my definition of beauty, it's not just, I guess, about the looks, but it kind of also lets you know like what's inside. That's like, I mean, if you're gonna call somebody pretty, right, that's how they're looking, but if you're gonna call somebody beautiful, that's different. That's like who they are, what they do, stuff like that.
In my opinion, beauty is just something, whatever you like to look at. If it's a work of art, it's always a matter of opinion. Some people enjoy looking at certain things that I don't find very attractive. And then in terms of people, the same thing. If it's something that attracts my attention, then I would say it's beautiful. It attracts my attention in a positive way.
I think beauty is more about like the way someone carries themselves and not as much about like appearance exactly and like personality. And I think that everyone is beautiful in their own way, and that you can find beauty in pretty much everything. And like as we like see more of the world and we grow, our like definition of beauty pretty much changes.
Cliche of beauty is only skin deep, and that is absolutely something I truly believe. Beauty comes from within. And I think that starts in your heart, and that's real beauty. That's my definition.
It's hard because high school is such a battlefield for against your self-confidence, for against your self-worth. But I think if you explore knowledge and you explore things that you're good at, which high school is supposed to be the place where you do that, then that makes you beautiful.
Okay, I think everybody holds on to a beautiful trait. So you just have to look for the good in everyone to see the beautiful in them.
Yeah, I think you could find beauty everywhere, but that doesn't mean that everything's beautiful.
I think beautiful isn't just being confident, or there's a fine balance between your looks and your personality, and like Brenda said, how you present yourself. Being beautiful is embracing your imperfections, because that's what makes you different.
Because I think everybody's definition of beauty and perception of beauty is different. It depends on where you're coming from. It depends on what culture you're coming from. Some people view long, skinny necks that have been lengthened with rings as beautiful. Some people think long, hangy earlobes with big holes in them are beautiful. Some people think very skinny women are beautiful. Usually other people think that women that are very plump are beautiful. So it depends on the perceptions. I think sometimes with the thinness and how you have to perceive yourself in a certain way comes from those people who are going to make money from those images. The fashion industry, movies, those that focus on what your look should be rather than accepting you for who you are.
I think beauty is like everyone's own individuality and the way that they think beauty is to them, and how like whatever makes them beautiful is their own like personal beauty. And yeah.
Well, to me, beauty is like, it's not usually physical. It's not like all physical beauty. It has to do with internal beauty. Like, I mean, you can be gorgeous on the outside, but be like a horrible person on the inside. So, like, yeah, it has to be like a balance of both. I mean, like, the ugliest person in the world would have like the best heart. So, I mean, that would make them beautiful.
I think beauty is really in the eye of the beholder, because I mean, you can think somebody's beautiful, but your friends think they're ugly, but it's really what you think. If you want to be with somebody that's beautiful, but people don't think they're beautiful, it doesn't matter what they think.
Oh, like, yeah, it depends on the people, whoever's seeing you.
In my opinion, the definition of beauty would be going solely on what is on the inward side of someone, with their personality, with how they treat others, with their characteristics of quality traits that they have. And beauty, I feel, is also demonstrated in outward things like our family life, or like different environmental things that I see around the world that I view as beautiful as well. I disagree with what media portrays as the stereotypical outward appearance of beauty, because what I have found is usually some of the most outward beautiful people sometimes are the most shallow on the inside.
I define beauty as an undefined noun that only you can define, because it's such a broad topic that no one can, there's not just one specific definition for it.
My opinion of what beauty is has changed over the years. As a teacher now, having almost 4 years in education, I see beauty in my students. I see beauty as something that really comes from the inside. I see it as growth in a person. I see a person feeling confident about themselves and who they are and what they want to do in life. I see beauty in someone who is unique and different and has a passion for life.
My definition of beauty is having a good personality.
My definition of beauty, I don't know, probably a person who helps others. Something that not everyone finds beautiful, because I think beauty is unique and not everyone thinks the same thing is unique. So I think even being ugly is beauty.
It's a positive energy, a happiness, a joyfulness. It's when someone or something is becoming what it wants to be, doing what it needs to be, and I think beauty is a positive energy that people give off. It's something we give off to others.
Beauty, and that is, it doesn't necessarily have to be appealing from a visual standpoint. It could be appealing from any number of aesthetic perspectives, such as there could be beauty in suffering. There could be beauty in long periods of trial, and also in things that the general public would think are not appealing, but would appeal to a specialized segment of the population.
So I think that beauty would be some level of self-confidence, having a little confidence in yourself, and having an appreciation for, I don't know, what you think is attractive.
I feel that beauty is something within you, how you feel about yourself.
But just to know how people would define the word itself just wasn't enough for me. Their definition needed to be applied to something. With this thought in mind, I developed my second question. With the definition that you told me, how is beauty displayed or emphasized here at City High?
How's beauty shown at City?
What I like about being here as opposed to other schools is that people are allowed to display their perceptions of what's fashionable or what they consider beautiful in a lot of different ways. That you don't see little robots walking around here looking the same, having the same clothes, having the same hair, because they feel that that's the way they have to look. So when I was in high school, everybody had to have the same clothes. It was like the same label. You had to have a certain label. You had to have a certain look, or you weren't accepted, even if you were what someone else would consider beautiful or acceptable. They did not.
I think it's a place to explore what interests you, what makes you smile, what makes you happy, what will make you be a better person.
I think we're accepting here of more people than other places.
Yeah, there's not really a lot of judgment going on. Like, people are really accepting and friendly.
I see a lot of different traits in the learner profile when I see beautiful students being those that are open-minded, those that are willing to take risks, those that are principled even when other people around them are not. And how I view beauty in my classroom is when students take on challenges, whether it's challenging music or challenging opportunities, doing something to be vulnerable, like being on stage or performing with others and things like that.
I think beauty portrayed at City is
it's portrayed in many different ways.
Definitely.
Like whether like
the setting, look at it, it's beautiful.
Our environment, the way people are like
we're accepting.
One of the biggest things, we don't have uniforms, so people are allowed to express themselves through their clothing and through their looks, which kind of always more to beauty than some other things. But I think expressing yourself is a lot about it. So.
I think beauty is shown when kids are nice to each other, kids are friendly, kids give each other a helping hand. I don't necessarily think, I think we all have beauty in our own way. Originality, I think there's definitely diversity. I think there's beauty in diversity, for sure. It's a diverse school, there's beauty in it, definitely.
I think smiles are beautiful. Smiles are beautiful. I think City's full of beautiful people. The building's not very beautiful. The building itself is disgusting. But the people in it, we make it beautiful. Definitely.
Because we're a very unique student body, it does, for sure, we do not judge each other on the outside of our skin, for sure. I think we see beauty here in kids' projects, we see beauty in the arts, we see beauty in the passion that students have in projects. And again, I go back to my definition of beauty, it comes from the heart.
My last question was made simply to display both depth and romanticism. And the last question I asked them, how are you beautiful? And do you follow the definition that you created?
If a teenager finds beauty in things that society finds beauty, if they fit in the box of what society is telling them is acceptable or what is beautiful, then they're probably going to align with that.
I feel that I am beautiful, my family is beautiful, and I am very confident in my beauty. I don't care what no one says. I still feel that I'm beautiful no matter what. Even if my hair is nappy or I look like a bum, I'm still say, yep, I will keep.
Well, since I said that I think everyone has beauty, I guess I would be included in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I try to be a good person, and I think intentions are better. So, and I try to embrace my flaws, but it's a work in progress.
There are things that I may do that are distasteful. In the long run, I know that I'll always be the person that I'll be able to look at as beautiful and not define myself by what I see to other people. It's why I do a lot of things I do, because I know they'll make me different, and it makes sense. Being different is beautiful.
Well, I think the definition is clear. It does not exist. Not to say that beauty does not exist, but to say that it can only be defined by who's looking, who's thinking, and who's defining. How is city beautiful? Its beauty lives in everything and in everyone. How are my peers beautiful? In their personal uniquity that is displayed in their work, their words, and their actions. And how am I beautiful? Well, I made this documentary, didn't I?